Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. It's currently sitting at a 72 overall Metacritic, and by that definition, that means most people enjoy this game. But not everyone does. So welcome back to a series that I call Bad Reviews for Good Games, and today we're taking a look at what the haters have to say for Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. Roll the tape like I rolled my R's. Roll the tape like I rolled my R's. R. I don't like See It Thieves, that game. Why did I say these? I meant fucking Skull and Bones. That game sucks. Psyops whatever your name is, gave the game a 1 out of 10, and they go on to say the game is dull. It has an empty, sterile plot with emotionless dialogue that seems childish and can be easily skipped. The antagonist resembles a villain from the 80s cartoons. The world is devoid of random events, forcing you to run for 10 minutes between missions. In other aspects, the game is just a carbon copy of Far Cry with its outposts and stretched gameplay. Now, what I think stood out to me for this review right here is the fact that he said the world is devoid of random events. I was personally afraid of this game because I was like, it looks exactly like Far Cry, just with blue people. But then I see this review right here and he's like, oh, there's nothing going on in between the events. Now I know they give you a pterodactyl to fly around, so he didn't have to run across the whole world, but that is frustrating still, to run around a big open world and there's absolutely nothing to do. And this is why this trend of open world games needs to die. Unless you're adding something new, innovative, fun to the open world formula, let it go. It's bringing down your games. This game probably would have been better if it was a semi-open world, especially because it's all about getting to like the outposts and stuff like that, where it just gives you enough little wiggle room. But I still don't agree with the 1 out of 10, like based off of everything you said. Based off the graphics alone, it's not a 1. Like the game is gorgeous. I'm gonna give Ubisoft that much. I don't think it's worth all that. So, you know, but you're entitled to your opinion. So Onyx gave Avatar 0 out of 10. Thing is that this is in Russian, so I had to throw it in Google Translate, and this is what they have to say. The game is beautiful, but it's boring and monotonous. Even Far Cry Primal was more interesting, this game is so boring. This man likes Far Cry Primal? I got Far Cry Primal stories. Like I remember Ubisoft flew me out to test that game. I remember all the content creators were like super excited recording their videos. I remember I was like the only one. I was like, I don't know about this shit. I remember Ubisoft pulled me to the side. They was like, so what do you think of the game? You think it's gonna be successful? I was like, nah. But shout out to Ubisoft because they still would fly me out to events. But anyway, that's crazy. He said this shit is worse than Far Cry Primal. I was like, sticks and stones, no thank you. What's also sad is the fake ratings from the fake accounts. That is, the ratings here on Metacritic are artificially inflated. Why do this if it was already clear the game is boring? Now, you're allowed to dislike the game. I don't agree with the 0 out of 10 because you even acknowledge the game is beautiful. You got to give it at least a 1 if the game is beautiful, it runs well, it hit its basis in terms of performance, right? But then you say that it's artificially inflated, the scores are like fake. How do you know that? Where are you getting this info from? Like, if you're gonna make those type of accusations, you need to state, I read X, Y, and Z here that gave me this type of data, because otherwise you just yapping. You look kind of crazy, but you allowed to dislike the game. I don't agree with the 0. I just don't understand where this is coming from. It's a little extra. Crew 35 gave Avatar a 1 out of 10, and they go on to say, this is the worst game in the world. Bad characters, bad graphics, because he didn't spell it right. Bad graphics, that's the way that Soap at least. Don't play this game. Only reason I'm highlighting this review is I'm confused at what you mean by soap at least. Could you, if you ever see this video, could you like update your review and like give us a little bit more insight on what you mean by soap? Are you using the Avatar? See, the graphics is fucking up my damn speed. It's graphics. Are you using the Avatar like game box to wash your ass like soap? Like, what are you doing? He was like, man, this game ain't clean, but maybe I could use the box to clean my ass. Nah, dog, you can't do that. Zeno Gamer gave Avatar 0 out of 10, and he goes on to say, this is an average game, a lot of bugs and glitches and frame drops. This is also a run-on sentence, fun fact. He also goes on to say, repetitive gameplay and missions, lot of performance issues. Another disappointing game from Ubisoft, not worth $70. It's just Far Cry with the blue skin, which is the sentiment I'm seeing a lot in the comment section. One thing I wanted to highlight is I'm also seeing a lot when it comes to performance issues, at least when it comes to the PC version. Who played it on console? Let me know in the comment section below. How does it run on console? But in these reviews, a lot of people are saying the PC version runs like ass, which is not a surprise. I'm gonna be honest. Ubisoft games tend to run like ass at launch. It's not till like 10 years later they actually fix the game. Then it runs well. So it doesn't surprise me, but I don't know. It's kind of weird because he gave the game a 0 out of 10, but then he says it's an average game. An average game isn't a 0 out of 10. It should get at least a 5, 6, or 7. But you know, words. I guess we're just redefining what they mean, you know? Okay, so the next review comes from I think Einstein or Einstein, I don't know. He gave it a 0 out of 10. I wanted to highlight this one because I actually really like it. From the first mission to the last, what differentiates is the number of enemy NPCs in the mission. The rest is all the same repetitive stuff. In other words, a Far Cry game again. This was the last game from Ubisoft. I buy a company with no creativity. The reason I like this, because normally I'd be feeling like people overreacting. I'm gonna accept your 0 because he said what differentiates is the number of NPCs between all the missions. So basically he's saying, instead of saying the mission structure is repetitive, he says it in a much more creative way. He details more. He's basically saying every mission is the same. The only difference is at the end there's more NPCs. I'll take your answer. You don't like it. It is what it is. Miles gives Avatar a 2 out of 10 and he goes on to say, I can't put my finger on it, but after a few hours, I'm just done playing it. I think it's kind of a death by a mini cut situation. The story's preaching like the movies. The acting is flat. The color palette, while impressive at first, starts to feel cartoonish. It's like when you're given an apple on Halloween. It's just disappointing. I can further elaborate, I think, on what he means, specifically with the story is preaching like the movies and the acting is flat. So I've seen a lot of clips in this game and it's kind of what's kept me away from it. And the story, basically you're playing these Navi, I think they were raised by humans, and like the humans are trying to control you into what you do while you're also like discovering your culture. And the humans are like cartoon 80 villains. Like I seen a clip and dude was like, you do what the hell I tell you to do, you're mine. And if I tell you to jump, you say how high. So it's almost like the game is trying really too hard for you to make you feel bad about the Navi people instead of creating like this cohesive world with actual devious story writing. It's kind of like a stereotypical cartoonish villain. And I can see how that could be a turnoff for some people. Shiraz91 gave Avatar 1 out of 10. He says, Far Cry 7, that's pretty much it. Ubisoft needs to stop with this gameplay loop. It's boring. I've been saying, Ubisoft used to be one of my favorite companies back in the day, like the Xbox 360 era, especially around the time of Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, before they really started to milk it and go year to year. For the last 15 years, between Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and then Watch Dogs, they've essentially been making the same game, just in a different city. The gameplay loop is all the same though, so I completely agree with this, man. Y'all gotta do something different. This person gave Avatar 0 out of 10. They said, I didn't even get out of the tutorial building because of bugs and soft locks. So far, I've encountered 2 soft locks. I got spawned in a room after a cutscene and couldn't break open a vent 2 times out of bounds. I fell out of the world and found a wall which you can walk straight through and see some soldiers just chilling and looking at you. Tutorial is bugged. It doesn't show prompts on what to do. Invisible enemies shooting at you, blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna lie, this man is making it sound like this game is basically Assassin's Creed Unity at launch. You guys remember that? This man's falling through the map. He's getting lots of T-poses. I don't know why I said it like that. Just all types of glitches and bugs. The game crashing. I think the funniest thing about these reviews is this game is about playing as a blue person, and a lot of people are basically reporting they're getting blue screens. Like, what's that about, huh? Ubisoft, come on. Lack of self-awareness, grow up. All right, so our next review comes from the 1800s, and he gives Avatar 3 out of 10. They go on to say it has pretty graphics, really breathtaking world, which any AAA modern game should have. Combat's also pretty fun. That's about all this game has. Woke story where the mean white man and the evil humans must be genocided to pay them back for this terribly written cartoon villains and being completely incompetent with vastly superior weapons and technology. Now, 1800. I'm gonna have to call bullshit on this review. He goes on a whole rant about propaganda and wokeism and colonials and all this other shit. Listen, right? Where have you been, man? There's 2 Avatar movies out, and that's literally what the whole series is about. So I don't understand why you're surprised the game is similar to the movies. I'm gonna go ahead and think, like, we need some verification. I don't think you played this game. I think you just wanted to go on a whole woke rant. These people in the comments will always crack me up. I don't think you have an argument here, man. You're gonna miss me with that one. And that's what the haters of Avatar have to say about the game. I didn't want to make this one too long because the gist of the reviews are, this is just another generic open world Ubisoft game. What a surprise. You wanna know what's not a surprise though? I got some more quality content for you to watch. Click one of the cards to the side of me right here and you can catch another one of my videos. Now the card at the top is going to take you to a video I did talking about the announcement of the Blade video game. I talked about what I wanted to see in it and what I didn't want to see, basically my wish list when it comes to arcane Kane's Blade. And then right below that, you're gonna find a card talking about the finals. It's a new first-person shooter game developed by some former developers of Battlefield. Tons of destruction, lots of fun, free to play, cross-play. If you wanna hear my thoughts on it, also if you're in the market for a new first-person shooter, just click the card. Click one of the cards, give me some more watch time right now. And Ubisoft, stop making generic open world action games. My brain froze. Never get old. I'll let y'all.